Hello and welcome to this LangChain tutorial. So in this video, we'll see what are messages in LangChain. So in lesson 3, when we were talking about chat prompt template, I actually briefly touched upon this topic of different types of messages. Now we'll discuss it in detail. So when we interact with LLM, right? So what you send as a prompt and what you get as response, every input and output that has a message type, a structure, and metadata. So these message types, right? So that's what we'll talk about. And knowing them help you in structuring your prompt in a better way, setting context so you get a proper response from LLM. So it helps with that. So pay attention and try to understand what are different type of messages in LangChain. So every message type which is there in LangChain actually is a class. So every message type which you create will be object of that class, and it will have following attributes. So it will have a role. So which is actually the type of the message. It may be system, human, AI. Then you will have the content. That's what we have seen in the code, right? Print response dot content. So that's how you get the content. And it has some metadata also. If you print the whole response, you get that, right? Metadata also, which will have your token input and output token, total token count, message ID, all these information. So that's what you'll get with each message. And messages which are there in LangChain are these. So you have SystemMessage, you have HumanMessage, you have AIMessage, you have ToolsMessage, you have ChatMessage, and there is a function message also, which is actually superseded by ToolsMessage. So that's what you will use more now. This has become a legacy class. So first one is SystemMessage class. So using that, you'll actually provide the system level instruction, the role of your LLM, what role you set for your LLM. So you can import it from LangChain underscore core dot messages. And then that's how you set. You are an experienced Python programmer or you are a helpful job assistant. So you set a context for your LLM, how it should behave, that you do with SystemMessage. Then we have HumanMessage, which is again imported from the same LangChain underscore core dot messages. So that is your prompt actually, right? User's prompt. So what you ask from the LLM, write binary search program in Python, what is the weather today, whatever you ask, that is your human message. Then what you get as response, that is your AI message. So that will be the response from the model. And human message as well as AI message, it can be text, audio, video, anything. So they both are of multimodal type, you can say. So support multimodal content. So AI message, you can also actually create like this. Here is an example. So messages. So just to set the tone of the conversation, right? You can also set some AI message. So LLM has an idea how it needs to respond. So that's how you can also give. Otherwise, what you get as a response from the LLM, that is of type AI message. Then there is a tool message. So actually, we have that concept of creating our own function, which you can decorate with @tool, and then you can configure it with your LLM that it has to call this function, this tool. So that LLM will decide that it has to call this function and to get the information which is needed. So then that information comes as a tool message. So that's how you use tool message. So as an example, suppose I have this function written in my code, extract underscore info, which is decorated with that tool. Then if you see, I've just printed a content which you get as AI message. In that, if you see, you'll get that there is a tool call with that, which has name extract underscore info. So LLM itself is printing all this. So it has all this, that when whatever prompt you've sent, right? So to do that, it has to call this tool. So tool call will be there. Name is extract info. Then it will be called here with the arguments. And then it gets the information which is there. It is extracting some name and skill, so it has done that. Then this is the tool message that relevant information has been extracted, and let me check if I have all the details or I need to do something further. So that is how tool message will be a part of AIMessage itself, and that dictates how your tool is used. Then you also have a chat message, which you can define to give some arbitrary role apart from what we have just discussed, right? System, AI, human, tool. So if you want to give some other arbitrary role like this, chat message role equal to developer. So here we are giving role as developer, a separate kind of role apart from these usual one, right, which are predefined. So you can give some, specify some arbitrary role using chat message. So these are some of the messages which are there in LangChain. Just a quick, you can say, lesson to give that information. And as I said, it helps you with the um, setting context and how you should structure your prompt, that we have done in examples also, right? In chat prompt template, how you give system and human message to ensure that context is proper. So that's how it helps. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.